What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is Ready to Love. Listen, this is season 4, I believe, episode 5. So listen, y'all. Let me get into these notes, okay? So we start this episode off. It is the men. The men are in control this week. It is the men's job to try to, figure out who's not ready to love. And so Tommy is meeting with the guys, and they're having, conversation with them. And Tommy said, listen, this week we're going to focus on basically who can we take out in public, okay? He said we are going to have a formal event, and it's going to be a masquerade ball, and I want us to see how do these ladies clean up. And Ron said, listen, this is great because I go to a lot of formal events and I need to know if these women know how to dress appropriately, how to act appropriately, which fork to use, all that good stuff that you need to know when you go into these formal events, right? And so we had some dates along the way, so let's get to it. So we had a double date with AJ, Jason, Alexis, and Kyra. They went ice skating. Listen, I tried ice skating one time and one time only. I thought I broke my damn ankle. No, ma'am. Give me the roller skates any day. Me and roller skates, we good. Ice skates, no bueno. Anyway, but Kyra looked like she kind of know what she's doing a little bit, and so did AJ. He was giving us a little back action and everything, and I was impressed because y'all down there in Texas, hell, this winter y'all got a whole lot of ice down there. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day, chat. Now, AJ and Kyra having a really good conversation. Kyra was like, listen, I like AJ when he lets his guard down and he lets that bravado go and he doesn't try to put on a front. He's a nice guy. He's intelligent. He's an engineer. He got a lot going for him. And AJ was like, I like Kyra. I can appreciate the fact that, we had a little bit of a rocky beginning. We had a little bit of a misunderstanding, but I appreciate the fact that she didn't hold it against me. We talked about it, we cleared it up, and she gave me a clean slate, and I can appreciate that. And I can appreciate that too, Kyra, because that says a lot about your character, because it is really easy to hold on to stuff and just keep bringing it up and to dog him out all the way, to the other women. And I don't know what's going on behind the camera, but in front of the camera, I can appreciate the fact that you keeping it, that you did do that. And AJ let Kyra know, listen, I'm interested. I'm actually interested, so let's see what we can do. Let's see how we can make this work. Now, on the other side, we had a totally different scenario going on. We had Jason and we had Miss Alexis. Now, Jason was like, Alexis seemed like a cool person, but I just cannot get past the fact that she is one of my students' moms. Like, I can't get her out of that. In my mind, I can't move her from mom to romance. Like, I just can't do it. And so they had to have, the little hard conversation that this probably ain't gonna be nothing. And Alexis made a comment about AJ kind of being at her top, and I'm thinking to myself, but I don't think you went AJ's top. Because AJ has said repeatedly the fact that you like to talk about sex all the time has sort of been a turn off for him. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like AJ not feeling you the way that you think AJ might be feeling you, Miss Alexis. But neither here nor there. Now, before I get into the rest of this, let me say something about what had happened on this show. Listen, I need all of the ladies that's on this show to understand that you are on a dating show. This is an accelerated speed dating situation for the purposes of a television show, okay? All of this, I'm your number one. Well, who's your number one? Well, I don't want to be number two. Well, I don't want to be. Somebody gonna be number two. Somebody gonna be number three. Hell, somebody not even gonna make the cut. And all of this, y'all worrying about who's number one, who's number one, who's number one. You are missing out. And, let me tell y'all a little bit of, I said I wasn't gonna do this, but let me tell y'all a little story. I was dating this guy one time. This is old. So for the people who can rock with me, this was a long time ago. This is back when I was right out of college. So this I'm giving my age away a little bit. Dude had a pager. Okay, that give you my age a little bit, okay? And when me and him first started dating, that pager used to blow up. I mean, blow up. I mean, it used to go off all the time, right? He wasn't no drug dealer before y'all go there. It was women. It was other women. I knew it was other women. He ain't never lie about what was going on or whatever. But my thing was, well, he with me right now. We at the, we at dinner, we at the movies, we at my apartment, we at his spot. Like, we are together right now. And it was early on in the relationship, so I couldn't be mad that he had other friends. Hell, I had other friends, okay, But the longer the two of us hung out, and the more time the two of us spent together, and we eventually became a couple, we eventually became boyfriend and girlfriend, guess what happened with that pager? It got to the point where the only time that damn pager went off is when it was his mama calling him, okay? And so, I say that to say, we've got to, like, y'all have got to get away from this whole who's number one, who's number one, who's number one. Hell, we only in week 5. Like, we've only eliminated 4 people. Calm down. There's going to be top 3s, top 4s, top 5s. Hell, some of these men might have a top 6. Your job is to focus on the person in front of you in the moment when y'all are on y'all date, when y'all are having a conversation, when y'all are spending time together. Focus on that person, and eventually the other people will fall away. And if they don't fall away, then he ain't yours. He wasn't going to be yours. It wasn't meant for him to be yours. Right? I say all that to say that's what happened on this episode. And some people kind of got caught up in the crossfires of worried about being number one. We have Stacey went on a date with Ron. Stacey spent her whole day with Ron talking about chrysanthemum. They've become best friends. Let's talk about that too. Unless the two of y'all knew each other before y'all came on this show, y'all not best friends. Y'all are two people who hit it off, and y'all are having a good time spending time together and building up a friendship. You can't be best friends with somebody you just met. It's just not possible. At least not based on the definition that I have of what a best friend is. My best friend, I have known her since before I remember meeting her. We have known each other since the playground, okay? We have literally known each other since elementary school. We went to different high schools and stayed friends. We went to different colleges and stayed friends. She's moved out. Lord, she live an hour and a half away now. She married with children. She is still my best friend. Do we talk every day? Nope. Do we hang out like we used to? We sure don't. But she knows stuff about me that won't nobody ever know. We done been through things. We done experienced things. So we can give each other a look and know exactly what each other is thinking. I can send her a text and I don't even have to use proper grammar and complete my thought, and she knows exactly what I'm talking about. A day could happen, and because we know what happened on that day, it means something to the two of us. We've had losses, we've had marriages, we've had divorces in our family. It's gotten to the point where our families have merged into one. We don't even make the distinction anymore. When something happens on her side of the family, she says your cousin, your aunt, your granddaddy. When it happens on my side of the family, I say your cousin, your aunt, your granddaddy. It don't have no difference. That's a best friend. Somebody you just met in the process of filming a TV show is not your best friend. And you're going to end up messing up this opportunity fooling with that. But I done went on a whole rant. I'm sorry. My bad. I had a couple of rants for this episode. Moving on. So, Ron was sort of put off because Stacey spent the whole time talking about, you're not going to do my girl wrong, chrysanthemum, and is she your number one, and who's your number one, and you need to worry about your number one, and this, and this, and this, and that. And I was just like, what the hell? And Ron was like, what the hell? And he was very put off by that whole conversation with them. Jason. Oh, I already wrote that. I already said that. Okay. Then we have Chris and Amber. Okay, they went on, I said yoga, but it was more of affirmation, more of a spiritual moment, you know. They were chanting affirmations at each other. They were at some sort of spa or something. And then afterwards, they had a good conversation, which was really good. They seemed to sort of be on the same page about certain things as far as marriage is concerned. Neither one of them seemed to feel like marriage has to be the be-all, end-all of a relationship. That if we get to that point and it evolves into that, that's great. But I don't need to necessarily walk into a relationship with somebody thinking that marriage is the end result. Listen, if you like it, I love it. And if you find somebody that's on the same wavelength that you were on, that's fine. But here's my problem with this whole situation. Chris, a.k.a. KG. Sir, you're doing it again. We have not seen you. Now, that doesn't mean you haven't done it, because I know how these shows go. They film it. They keep what they want to keep. They take out what they want to take out. But the fact that if you have gone on a date with somebody else, the show felt like it wasn't important enough to show us, that tells me something right there. Chris, you did this last season. You got so focused on one person that when that didn't work out, you were eliminated, not because the other ladies didn't like you or weren't interested, but because you didn't give them a fair chance of getting to know you because you were so zero in and focused on Naya. You're doing it again. Listen, Amber may be a sweetheart. She may really be a nice lady, and she may end up being the one for you. But what you should not do, what you can't do, is waste this second chance because it's the first time it's ever happened. And a lot of the reason why you got a second chance is because the viewers and probably producers felt like you really got a raw deal. Not so much because of what you did, but because of the way Naya responded. Okay, Chris, it looks like from the previews next week you're going to go on some dates with some other people, but I really need you to stretch yourself. I really need you to take full advantage of this opportunity, this second chance. Do not zero in on one person, because if Amber is the one, then by process of elimination, she'll be the one. But you gotta go out and meet other women and spend time with other women. Anyway, that's my second rant of this episode, Lord, and I got a third one coming. Anyway. Then we had like a whole tango situation with Ron, Joelle, and Dietrich, Chris, Venetia. I hope I said her name right. Venetia, and Tessa. Now, Ron was teaching them how to salsa. I said, did I say salsa or did I say tango? I meant salsa. Ron was teaching them how to salsa, and then they sort of kind of had a little breakout situation. So we saw Ron and Chrysanthemum, and then they end up having a whole conversation about who's number one, and Chrysanthemum talking about someone, I ain't nobody's number two, and I need to be number one, and this, and this. I done already went off on that. I done already had my whole moment about that, but y'all really got to get away from that. Like, you know what it is. You know what this show is about. You earned that number one spot, okay? Joelle and Venetia, listen, they like each other. There's a spark there, but I'm gonna say the same thing to Joelle that I just said about KG. Don't zero in and not get a chance to get to know some other women. Like, this is the second date we've seen, and again, there's a spark there, and that's great, that's cool, that's good, but you've got to work the room. That's all I'm gonna say. Dietrich and Tessa, listen. He tried. I'll give him an A for effort. He really did try. They ended up going on a date later on in the episode where they went on like a little spice. Where they went to like a spice thing. Like a restaurant. I mean, not a restaurant. A store that had like all these different spices and stuff. And it just was. Listen. It was uncomfortable to watch, and there wasn't a spark there for either one of them. But like I said, I give Dietrich an A for effort, child. Now, we get to the masquerade ball. Listen, everybody looks nice. I know that at that brunch, I had some things to say about some of them people. But everybody looked nice at the masquerade ball. Tommy came through and he brought his wife with him. And she kind of worked the room a little bit, and he kind of worked the room a little bit. Now, she had a really good conversation with Alexis. And the conversation was about not only marrying somebody you love, but you got to marry your best friend. Because at the end of the day, there are gonna be days when you don't love him so much, and he don't love you so much. But if you are friends, then the friendship is there, and the friendship will stand. And I think that we've heard that before. I think we know that, but the problem is a lot of us just don't do it. Liz was busting heads, honey. She came through there with that cleavage out, baby. They wasn't ready for it. Now, all of the men was like, when they saw Liz. And I think part of it, yes, Liz looked good. She absolutely looked good. But I also think part of it was they just weren't ready for what Liz was giving them. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't ready for what Liz was rolling out. But like I said, ultimately, everybody looked nice. Now, we had a whole freaking frack moment. We have Stacy and Chrysanthemum calling each other freaking frack, going, working the room. And really getting on everybody's nerves, honestly. Like, they are really getting on everybody's nerves with this whole freaking frack thing. And a lot of the guys are complaining that they can't get close to one because it's like a package deal. Like, I can't have a conversation with her because there's a package deal, because now I got to talk to both of them, or I got to deal with both of them. And Stacey just kept inserting herself into other people's situations, especially when it came to Chrysanthemum. And it almost made me wonder, well, damn, like, are you... Stacey, just mind your business. So Jason started giving Liz a second look because, you know, like I said, a lot of the people was really feeling Liz, you know, so they was kind of giving Liz a second look. And we saw that Liz had a conversation with Jason. Now, Liz was like, listen, I like Ron and I was feeling Ron, but at the end of the day, I'm open to hearing what other people have to say. I'm open to, you know, that's what we here for, right? And so I feel like Liz and Jason might, you know, go on a little date and maybe feel some things, you know, feel some things, you know. But ultimately the masquerade ball was nice. It looked like they had a really good time. And of course it was COVID friendly because it looked like it wasn't nobody there but them. But I don't think it was too much else that went on, you know, down to the situation. Now the guys get around to deliberate, and what I said is basically what they said. Unfortunately, nobody was really feeling Tessa, right? Everybody was like, she's a nice person. She really seems like a sweet woman. But nobody was physically attracted to her. And here's the thing. I did a whole rant on this, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. Just be on the lookout for the rant, because I did a whole 5-minute rant on this. But my biggest thing with this Ready to Love is y'all got to do better about vetting and figuring out who likes who, because I'm not mad at those men for not being physically attracted to Tessa. There's no rule that says that you have to like everybody type that walks in the door. Just because I'm a BBW, I 100% understand that everybody ain't feeling the fluff, and that is fine. I respect that. Everybody don't have to like everything, because I sure don't like everything that come on a man, right? But the problem is, you bring a BBW on the show, but then you don't bring any men on the show that like BBWs. That's not fair to Tessa. And if the men lied and said that they did, because none of those men said, all of them said, I'm just not feeling her. I'm just not physically attracted. And I understand that just because she's a BBW doesn't mean that just because I like BBWs means that I have to automatically want to date all BBWs. I get that too. I understand that just because you have a preference for something doesn't mean you like everybody in that preference. But I just feel like out of those 10 men, well, what we down to 8 men now, I feel like out of all 8 of those men, none of them felt physically attracted to Tessa, but they all felt like she had a nice personality and she was a sweetheart. She was a cool chick. What that says to me is you got a room full of men who that's not their preference. And I just feel like that wasn't fair to Tessa, and y'all need to do better. Okay. Then we had the whole freaking frack conversation. They wasn't feeling freaking frack, but it seemed like they mostly wasn't feeling Stacey. So they had Joelle take Tessa on a date, and they had, I believe it was Ron, took Stacey on the date. Now, poor Stacey is so clueless. She thought they was really on a date. I said, damn. She said, we finally get to go on a date. And I'm like, girl, you're not on no date. But ultimately, Ron lets Tessa know that the guys just felt like, listen, you are not ready for love. And so then I was thinking, because I just knew Tessa was going home. I was like, so they kept Tessa over Stacey? Because I figured they would let Tessa go and they would give Stacey that whole you need to do better talk. So when they showed Ron giving Tessa the whole you ain't ready to love thing, I was like, so they kept Tessa? Nope. They did a double elimination, baby. Tessa had to go. And I felt so bad for Joelle, because Joelle really didn't. You could tell he was really struggling with it. You could tell that he really, really liked Tessa. He said, this is really hard for me. You know, so you could see him struggling with it. And Tessa got very emotional. And I felt bad in that moment for her as well. Because, again, you know, you put yourself out there. And it is just, and I mean for all the women. For all the women too, shit. You put yourself out there and it's just hard. And so I felt for her in that moment. Hey girl, Tessa, I got you. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.